back in another training. So in this training, we're going to talk about how to fuel your goals with the food that you're eating. And the most important part of that is, first of all, learning how to calculate what macronutrients you should be eating for your goals and where you're at now. So here's the most basic formula that I will recommend that I do with a lot of our clients. First of all, you're going to download a calorie tracking app. One that we recommend is MyFitnessPal. When our clients are in the program, they get access to ours, but MyFitnessPal is a really good one, and there's a free version. You're going to track all the food that you eat for 1 week. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Track everything, weigh your food, be as accurate as possible. And what this is going to do is you're going to start to see trends, okay? But it's really imperative that in this time you are not changing the way that you eat just because you're tracking it now. You actually want to eat how you were eating before. So don't start eating healthy all of a sudden. Just track how you've been eating. Do you want to add to anything like that, or?
Yeah, it will give you data, and I know it's so hard to not change how you're eating, but reality-wise, this is about data, right? And the quality of the data determines what we do with it. If the data is crap, what you're going to get out of it is not going to be useful to you. So obviously, this comes down to the track everything, be as accurate as you can, and then based upon that, then you've got a good collection of data, and then you can actually see what's happening.
Exactly. So then at that end of the week, what you're going to do is you're going to take your averages. Okay. Typically I say throw out any days that were really high and throw out any days that were really low. So you might have one really high one really low one, throw those out, then take the average of the rest. Average your calories, average your proteins, your carbs, and your fats. So ultimately what you've got there is what your basic keeping your body where it is now macros. Okay. So you'll get a number for calories, protein, carbs, and fats. Now, that is how to calculate your starting point. Okay. So for numbers, let's say that you're at 2000 calories, whatever protein, carbs, and fats. So from here, you decide, okay, well, what is my goal? If your goal is to lose fat, then we want to do a slow and systematic decrease of calories over a period of time. If you want to build lean muscle, then we have the opposite process. You're going to increase your calories and increase your protein, carbs, and fats over a period of time. Now, in what proportions do we do this? What I would recommend, so let's use the number 2000. If you're at 2000 and you want to build, and you want to build muscle and you are relatively lean, I don't recommend starting to build muscle like in a more advanced way if you have a fair amount of body fat. Okay, so that's a question that you have to ask yourself. So you are relatively lean and you want to build muscle. What I would do is slowly and systematically over the course of several weeks, increase your calories by about 150 to 200. And what that looks like is adding about, and we already did this in the last lesson, what the protein, carbs, and fats are and how many calories are in them. But that would look like adding around 20 to 25 grams of carbs, 5 to 10 grams of fat, and now protein. So protein you can add, but only to a point. More protein doesn't actually equal more in your body. We typically get our clients to about 1 gram of protein per pound body weight max. So if you're someone that you did your calculations and you realize you're only eating 100 grams of protein, well, you can start by increasing your protein by about 20 grams every couple of weeks. So say you did a slight increase that equals about 150 to 200 calories. You're going to eat that way for about 2 weeks and then reassess yourself. How are we feeling? Did we maintain our leanness? Are you noticing any changes? If you're feeling good, then you can repeat this process again. So if you wanted to lose fat, the process would be the exact opposite. You would reduce by 200 calories and then reassess every couple of weeks.
What I do hear in a lot of what Madison is saying, though, is it's about consistency. It's about actually being very intentional, and it is something that you have to buy into, where you're actually choosing to be intentional and be consistent for an extended period of time. So quick results quick results in the short run will not give you long lasting results in the long run. She's not saying add 100 calories a day for a week and then see what happens. Why is that? Because your body is not going to respond in the ways that you want. Yes, you will. If you cut 500 calories out of your diet instantaneously, you're going to see a short burst of quick results. But that's not something that's actually going to give you those long-term, real, actual results. I go to a festival and I don't eat for 3 days. I lost 7 pounds. It's not really 7 pounds though, right? And some of the weight that I did lose was that hard-earned muscle. So this thing that you're hearing, oh, it's going to take time, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. But would you rather do it and get it done right and actually get the actual results? Or do you want to see the number on the scale drop, even if it's not actually real and you just lost water or you lost muscle? So hearing this, I'm thinking, well, you have to decide. Am I doing this for real, or do I want a quick fix? Or am I looking at, if I'm just looking at the scale looking at the number on the scale? Because depending on which one you want, right, real results, or I want to see the number on the scale drop for a couple of days, even though I know that number is going to go back up, right? So have that in mind as you're really doing this. It's consistency, it's buy-in, it's staying the course, and it's trusting the process.
Yeah. The last thing that I want to mention is there will be a handful of you out there who will do the tracking for a week and notice that most people I find want to lose fat. That is the most common goal. And then after they lose fat, they want to build muscle, right? And most people who come into the program are eating 2,000 calories or more. And then we do that slow and systematic cut over a period of time. Now, there is a small group of people who we've worked with and who will be out there among you who have tracked for a week and say, oh my gosh, I'm only eating 1,300 calories or 1,400 calories or 1,200 calories. If this is the case and fat loss is your goal, you cannot cut calories. You have to do what's called a reverse diet to get your metabolic rate back up to a healthy level. Because if you're eating that low, your metabolic rate is very low and you won't be able to lose fat, and you can't cut calories from nothing. So what this looks like is you would do that process that I talked about for building muscle very, very slowly. You would add 100 calories every 2 weeks and then reassess and how we're feeling. And what you might notice is you get hungrier and you actually get leaner in this process. Why? Because you're building lean muscle during this. If you're working out, you're going to be building lean muscle during this phase. You're fueling your body better. You have more energy. Your non-exercise daily caloric burn will be higher because your body's not dead, right? You're going to have more energy to be fidgeting. Fidgeting actually burns calories.
That's why I burn so much.
That's why I go lean. So just making sure that you spend the time and doing what we call the reverse diet, get your calories up to a healthy level, which I would say at least over 1,800 to 2,000 before considering doing a cut. And absolutely not cutting calories if you're already at that low level.
This is a good example of why this makes sense. Bodybuilders consume 5,000-6,000 calories a day. Why? Because their metabolic rate is so incredibly high. If they don't eat that number of calories, they're actually in a state of catabolic state where they're losing fat and muscle, and probably losing a lot of muscle in those states. So, for example, I keep my engine nice and hot, and I eat a lot of food. I eat probably 3,000 calories a day, and I'm not that big. I mean, how do I eat so much and not gain weight? It's because the engine is hot, the metabolic rate is high. There's enough muscle, and I've stoked the engine, and it's nice and hot. So if you're eating 1,300 calories a day and you're not losing weight, I promise you, thinking about it logically, that's telling me something is wrong. If you've got muscle and you're eating so little and you can't lose weight, well, obviously you're doing something wrong. I'm eating more than double you are, twice as much as you are, and you're not losing weight. So this is a very complicated problem. It's not something that is going to be rectified overnight. You can't just start eating 3,000 calories a day and expect that that's going to work. It has to be done very systematically, and that is something that you really have to lean into. And I know it's so hard. People are like, I want to lose weight. Why am I going to eat more calories? But you've put yourself in the situation where you are in starvation mode. You're in a catabolic state and you're just not able to do it. You have to go this route. It's the only real answer in the long run.
And so at the end of the day, if this is you, absolutely reach out to us. We'd love to help, because it is definitely something that's hard to go at it on your own. You absolutely can. However, we're in your corner. Our email will be under this video, and be sure to reach out. We'll catch you in the next training.